Now this is where having the motorcycle up high, a big advantage. Now for people new to the channel, this would be on the FZR restoration set. These are hand buffed and they are in my estimate. Now today my project is, and I'm going to hopefully be able to share some of the information, how I polished the wheels on this motorcycle. It's a brand new 2020 MT-09 Yamaha, and it's got, I think, but I'm not sure, I'd be willing to bet I'm right though, powder coated wheels. We have painted so many wheels for our collection and for other people I can't even count them. There's literally hundreds of videos of painting wheels on my channel. But today we're going to try something different. We're going to see if we can improve the look of the powder coating. And because this is real, be honest, this is one of the first times I've fooled with powder coating. But I know it's different than paint, and we're going to try to do some experiments and see if we can pass some of that information, good and bad, along to you. Now for people new to the channel, this would be on the FZR restoration set. These are hand buffed, and they are, in my estimation, just a beautiful upgrade for a motorcycle for almost no money. Quite a bit of work, not a lot of money. That's kind of the things I like to do when I customize a bike. Our GS wheels are over 10 years old and they've held up really well. The paint seems to hold up beautifully. The R1 wheels, again, they're hand buffed, super easy to maintain. Now I don't know, again, I have never had a set of wheels powder coated, so this is a new experience for me. But I know if you do choose to paint wheels, then you can have the option, which I've already done, of putting extra clear on and being able to hand buff them out. Now on my Ninja, I've made two sets of wheels. I've said I have a green set and I have the black set. And these wheels, again, they're on the channel. You just need to search painting wheels. And these wheels, I think they change the whole look of the bike when you change it from black wheels to green wheels. It's a nice way if you have two sets of wheels for a motorcycle. Yet in essence, we call it evil twins. And even the RG wheels, which were a labor of love, they're a difficult set of wheels to paint. And none of those stripes or tape, they're all painted on. And again, they're all on the channel for people that might have an interest in that. And when you paint a set of wheels, for sure, it's a labor of love. But in the end, I think you have something very special, and it really doesn't cost a lot of money. Now, the MT-09 wheels are going to be a challenge for one reason. This is a brand new bike, of course. Most people have a brand new bike, don't want to do anything, but you can see it has kind of a cast effect in there, but then from here out, it's buffed. It's machined, and we'll be able to, I hope, be able to buff that by hand or by machine. We're going to do some experiments, and I hope by the end of this video, I'll have learned something, and I'll be able to pass that on to you. Now, this is on last year's project, and these wheels just came out. These are like the pride of the fleet here. I've even buffed the spokes. Now we're not going to be able to buff the spokes because these wheels have that cast, I don't know, roughness, 80 grit paper roughness, but we're definitely going to be able to buff along the rim. And it may be that that's going to be a nice look that it complements. If it doesn't, I guess we're going to have to paint the wheels. I'm hoping not. And as I always try to convince people, when you have a small collection of motorcycles like I do, there's always something to do to keep you busy, and today's no exception. Now, not that long ago, we polished up the muffler on this and the header, and I think that added a nice dimension to the bike that it really didn't cost us any money. And again, I like to do modifications to the motorcycles that cost very little money, maybe are labor intensive, and that they're unique. They're not something you can just buy off eBay. And this today will be one of those things. Now, I always say a motorcycle has a million little details. This is a little detail I did a couple days ago. I replaced the shiny bolts with black bolts, and it made a tremendous difference. And I've asked 3 or 4 people already. It definitely looks a lot better with the bolts black. A tiny detail, but a big improvement. And that's a good way to look at customizing a motorcycle. And pretty much every one of these bikes I've made hundreds of changes to over the years that I've owned them. This bike I bought brand new. I've had several exhaust systems and the handlebar options and different. It It's endless. I have 6 different seats for this bike. It's endless. And that's kind of the fun of owning a collection of motorcycles. So I think the first thing to mention is we will be very careful about doing this and not overdo it. Because I don't know how thick the powder coating is on those wheels. That powder coating may be very thin. When I do the paint work, I do the clear, I put extra clear, and then I can buff away forever, but not with factory paint work. And the paint work that comes with a brand new Yamaha is beautiful. I have to admit one thing, I really am impressed. You can't feel the 09. They've buried it in clear, and they buffed it out beautifully. This is every bit as good as if I did the paint work. This is really nice. But not all bikes are like that. Sometimes you can feel the decals. But this probably has enough clear that for many, many years, I'll be able to keep it looking brand new. That's a real nice feature of this bike. One of the features I have to live with, but I'm not crazy about it, is this flat clear. Now, when I painted Najat's Ducati, and actually he painted some of it, I painted some of it, we experimented with flat clear. I was really unhappy with it. I much prefer buffed out stuff, but these decals, you can feel them. So at some point in time, maybe painting these flat black parts in the future, not sure. But and I know the modern bikes, they like the flat colors. You know, I kind of like the shiny colors. And when I did this restoration last year, we just finished this restoration, and we got about 1,000 miles on that bike since we did it. I tried to get as many parts shiny and as many parts shiny carbon fiber, even the parts I made from carbon fiber. There's 4 or 5 parts on here I had to make from carbon fiber. I wanted them all to be shiny, high gloss. Now, a lot of modern, younger people might like the bike all blacked out. Well, that's why we have vanilla and chocolate ice cream. And the nice thing about all customizing, all personalizing of motorcycles, there's one thing to always keep in mind. It's always subjective. And it's just like picking out a motorcycle. If you like a really hot sport bike and I want a cruiser, another guy wants a trials bike, and well, there's a problem. Some people, like me, want them all. And I have limited space and, of course, limited funds to buy them. But over the years, I've made many custom parts from scratch. I have multiple, like I said, multiple seats and parts and wheels. And I always do share any information that I learn in this ongoing process on my video channel. So when we make changes to this motorcycle, I always want to keep in mind it's a little bit different than the classic bikes. I have 4 historically registered bikes. This won't be historically registered for another 25 years. So I'd like to kind of keep it modern, but I'd like it to be just a little nicer than stock. And I think we can do that. So let me share a little tip. This is a baby tip, but something you always want to keep in mind when you're changing or doing something to a bike or working on it. There's a primary side and a secondary side. The primary side, the bike leans this way, so almost every time you view this bike, you'll be viewing it from this side. And what that means is, it's a simple thing. You're going to see this side of the muffler, you're going to see this side of the wheels, and I'll explain why in just a second. And so whenever you're doing a change that you're not sure is going to work, you always want to do the secondary side. So if there's a glitch or a scratch or something you don't like, if you're changing tires with tire irons or tools or tire machines and going to scratch a rim, always scratch the secondary side. And primary side, secondary side. Because this is the side, unless you have a center stand, and that's a good trick, by the way, that people enter bike shows all the time, and I have kind of a unique record in bike shows. The bikes I've entered have never lost, and I have trophies downstairs to prove it. So with that in mind, I hope you'll send me some money. Not really. But we never have lost a bike show. We've always come in first. So how cool is Yamaha? They have figured out that to put this, what is a relatively unattractive part of the motorcycle, on the secondary side. That's to their benefit. And when we polish the muffler, we save polishing the secondary side for the next time we do polishing. So, but in the meantime, I had the primary side polished, and most people look at that side and don't realize I didn't polish this part yet. But that's a good thing to keep in mind. The primary side, or if you're going to, I always say if you're going to scratch a wheel, scratch the secondary side. So the first part of this job, get the bike up on the spools, and I want to jack the front end up with our electric come along. So basically both wheels will be free to turn. As I've said over the course of many videos, this is one of the best tools I've ever spent $75 for. It allows me to clean the wheels in a matter of seconds, and I've got the bike stabilized on the back. Now the whole bike is off the ground, and it'll be relatively easy to work on it, and safe. One quick tip, anytime you're doing this, you don't want to pinch these wires in any way. See, I've gone underneath there, moved these zip ties further up. I don't want to in any way pinch anything or have anything you throttle cable. Every bike's a little bit different. So the first thing I want to do is I just want to try our staple that polishes almost everything: aluminum, magnesium, steel, stainless steel, titanium. Good polish, relatively low cost. A tub like this about $8, $9. And some old microfibers that, because we're going to be grinding away on this, I want to do a little spot on the front wheel on the secondary side by hand, just to see. Now what's going to happen, I think, is as soon as the rag comes up really blue, you're removing material. You can't do that indefinitely. You can't take a buffing wheel and just grind away at it. Well, I don't know. We're going to find out how much powder coating or how thick that powder coating is. But this is a good material to do any polishing with. And if we have time at the end of this job, I'm going to do the secondary side of the muffler using this material. Now this is where having the motorcycle up high, a big advantage. And I want to see what I'm afraid to do is just take a buffing wheel and grind away at this, because I don't know how thick this powder coating is, and I don't need to make it like a monster job. This is a job that the whole bike, this whole thing should take at worst maybe an hour. So I want to look at, and you can see this in real time. In fact, I'll do a part of it in real time. I'm just doing this for an experiment. You can see already the rag is coming out blue. It means we better not get too cute. So let's just see. Now from looking at that, I can tell right away we hit a home run with this. This is going to be easier than I thought it would be. We're not going to be able to get up into the spokes, and I'll take the camera and I'll show a close-up of how this looks. And what I don't want to do is do so much. I'm going to do the whole thing by hand. In fact, I was thinking I'd take my little Dremel tool or something. This is coming up so easy. When paint comes up easy, it's better to do it all by hand. You take no chance that it's going to go through then. And I think this whole job, an hour, the most. Now I'm not sure right here. You can see the difference of this. This is relatively dull, and when we come up, can you see the shiny spot there? You can see a change. Well, buffing anything. I think if you over buff this, there'd be a problem. This material is soft and it's thin. And as you go out of the buffed area, you can see it's dull. As soon as you come back to the shinier. So in a very short amount of time, I should have the whole part of the rim looking like that, with no big deal at all. That should be. This is actually, I thought we were going to be grinding away at this for a whole day. This is going to be an easy peasy. But again, the pitfall is don't overdo it and buff your way through into silver. Now after that, we're very close to having this exactly where I want it. Again, I don't want to take any chance on going through or getting too crazy about it. But if I look at both sides at the same time, and again, when I do the back wheel, it'll be a lot easier. Yet this is a harder rim to do because you got all kinds. You're always banging your hand on that or whatever. Fender's in the way. The back wheel is more exposed. But I think that is just. And that's something nobody's going to really notice. And then all of a sudden they're going to say, yeah, that looks a little bit nicer than mine. And that buffed out finish is a really nice match for the paintwork on the tank in terms of the shine. Oh, our primary side really starting to look good. Now, the point is, I want to be able to do this, you know, maybe once a year. I don't know, but I know this will be a lot easier to maintain, a lot easier to keep clean. I'll put a coat of Flitz on it at the end. That'll just make this, it'll make the maintenance of the bike so much easier. So something I was not sure of in the beginning when I bought the bike, I looked at the wheels and I said, oh, we can make them better. I was thinking buffing wheels in a whole afternoon. This is to do what I'm doing here, except for the muffler. The muffler will take some time, I'm sure. But this powder coating is very soft. So I have a feeling if you're changing tires, one of the downsides would be if you're changing tires with a tire machine or with spoons, it's going to be very prone to taking a scratch. Now, we don't do that. We change the tires, and if you want to see how we do it, obviously just search the channel. There's 1,800 videos out there. And I try to do it usually by cutting the old tire off. That's where you usually do most of your damage. And I'm really curious to see how these Dunlops, how many miles they're going to have on it. They're really nice soft tires. And boy, they grip like iron. But again, the downside is, and we're not riding the bike hard yet. And I just have that gut feeling when we do, the tires are going to get used up. We'll find out. We'll find out, and we'll try to report honestly the good and the bad. There's so many things about this motorcycle that are just wonderful, beyond wonderful. And when I look at YouTube and I see other people reviewing them and what's important to them and how they bling the bike out and turn it into a Christmas tree and stuff, well, everybody's different. And it's always, you paint yourself into a corner if you think you're the only one knows how to do stuff. But anyway, this looks like it's not going to be as big of a deal as I thought. But I know when it's all done and I take this bike outside in the sun, can't do it right now because it's pouring rain. I want to take it out in the sun and do some photos. I think it's just going to be an amazing detail touch, and it fits that criteria that I like. A little bit of effort and almost no money at all, and something that really will change the look of the bike. And that's basically, now I've been spending time here. I may as well show this. I've been trying to figure a way of doing this because you have an edge. You don't want to run the rag up on the edge, that's for sure. I'm trying to find a technique because I don't want to catch that edge. Well, let's see if I can do it with my thumb on the side. I was experimenting with the front wheel, but yeah, this works good. You don't want to polish down on that mountaintop. That's the spot where you'll go through. And you really don't need to make this to get the look I'm after. I think an hour you can do the whole job. Even if this is the first time you've ever done it. See, I didn't think we were going to stumble upon a good polish right away. I thought we were going to go through a whole bucket of 20 different polishes before I found one that made it come up. I hit it on the first, and that's just luck. That's just luck. Oh, that came up nice. Just nice. And I think anybody that does this, that spends that hour, if you have this type of bike or this type of wheel, I'm sure is on many other bikes. Boy, does that make it, I'd rather have that than one of those fake stripes around it that they do with tape and it always looks like it's a worm. I think that's a giant upgrade. Wow. Well, I'm trying to show this, but I'm not sure it's going to come out because of the lighting here. We don't have the lighting I'd like to have. But you can see, maybe right now you can see the other side of the rim looks kind of like 2000 grit sandpaper. And this will this make the bike a lot easier to maintain and keep the wheels clean. It'll be a matter of seconds to clean the wheels. I always hope I could bring the bike out and show the difference out in the bright sunlight. Well, it's pouring rain, so I'm not going to be able to do that today. Just take my word for it. Now, people that have watched the channel are probably sick of hearing me say the two things you can do to a motorcycle to make the biggest impact for the least amount of money is to paint the motorcycle, number one, change the color or custom paint it or whatever, and we've done that pretty much to most of the bikes, and do some custom treatment to the wheel. And this is a surprisingly easy custom treatment. And I think anybody that has this type of bike or these type of wheels should just consider this as being an upgrade. I honestly think I'm going to get this done in a little over an hour for the whole thing. And then I'll put a final coat of Flitz on everything just for protection. If you don't use Flitz or you don't like it or whatever, a good choice would be any Carnauba wax just to protect it. And boy, does that make cleaning the back wheel up. And actually, one of the things I didn't expect, I think it kind of looks cool that this is flat in here and it's polished out here. Kind of a unique look. Not like you would see on a classic bike like any of our historic bikes, but it fits this style of bike where you do have flat parts and shiny parts, and well, it's a unique thing. And I think anybody that has this motorcycle, when we park them side by side, is going to notice right away, wow, where'd you get, how'd you do that? And I like that. And it's something we can share with our friends, we can share with the YouTubers, we'll share with everybody. And it's that best of all things. Not much money and a little bit of work. And a great result. I can't wait to get that out in the sunlight, probably the next day or so, but you pretty much can see we're making some progress on that. Now, I think the temptation here is to overdo it and go through the powder coating. We don't want to do that, because what I want to do is from time to time I want to do a cleanup on those wheels. And of course that'll make maintenance just a whole lot easier. So the last thing, we're going to get a clean rag, put by hand, put a coat of Flitz polish. This is 6,000 grit. It's really not made to buff things up, it's made to put protection on them. And if they say it's six months protection, I found that I did my car with this, and what happened is I rode in the rain and I could see the spots I didn't do with this, so months later, so it's good stuff. Now also, out on my channel there are a couple of dedicated Flitz videos of just doing the Flitz product, polishing aluminum, and may be very interesting to people with that have a need or a want to polish aluminum. Best if you're using Flitz to use a rag that doesn't have anything on it beside Flitz, because this is really an ultra fine compound, and if you put something in there with 4,000 grit or 3,500 grit, it kind of is going to pull more material away. The 6,000 grit, this takes a little bit of time. They make a Flitz buffing ball, and I've made a video on how to use it. It's on the channel. But this one is, and see, you can see it's still taking material off. So that's why you have to be. Now, if this were paint and it had clear on it, we could do the spokes and everything. But I think this looks very unique, having the hub and the centerpiece kind of dull and the shine on the outside. It looks like the old school Kawasaki wheels that used to just polish the rim, or actually the GS wheels, the stock GS wheels are similar to that. So it's a unique look. I think it's in keeping with this style of motorcycle, and we'll see if any of our friends even notice it or if they like it, and if they don't like it, there's a simple solution. They don't have to look at it. And one of the things I try to do is not follow trends. I try not to just follow the whole herd is going off a cliff. I try to figure out what I like, and then always say, yep, it's my motorcycle, and if I want to do X, Y, Z. And that has worked for me. For many 50 plus years of working on and customizing and maintaining and riding and track days and God knows what else. Anyway, there we go, and that is, I think that has added a nice dimension to the motorcycle in about an hour and a half. I'm not sure you can see that, because a lot of things when you're not out in bright sun, you really can't see the reflections and stuff. But we'll get it out in the bright sun in the next couple of days. I'm real happy the way that worked out. Now the rest of the time I want to see what I can do about that muffler. Now I'm sure a lot of people would say you don't even see that, which is probably true because it's on the secondary side of the motorcycle, but you know what? It's something we can make a little bit nicer, and we're sitting here, we have, the ability to do it, and probably in less than an hour that'll look a whole lot better. Now I'm sure a lot of people would say you don't even see that, which is probably true because it's on the secondary. Basically using the same two tools that we used on the video of polishing up the headers and the other side of the primary side of the muffler. This side I'm sure we'll polish up without no difference. It's just a matter of time. Now on an MT-09, there's no muffler. You just have this catalytic converter. It's got, looks like it has 2 baffles in it. And that's all. There is no muffler on an MT-09 as such. No bolt-on Yoshimura muffler. And another thing about the exhaust system on this bike, there's no clamps at all. It's a welded one-piece system. Now the rest of the time I'm going to spend some time, do as tight in here as I can, maybe with a paint stick. Try to get as much of this done with the drill. A couple little things for the with the Dremel tool bits, but if you're interested in seeing how this all came to fruition, probably check out the MT-09 polishing the exhaust system video. Otherwise this would just be redundant. Well, that certainly is a small improvement, but something I'm sure somewhere down the road I'll be glad I did. If for no other reason, it'll make maintenance a lot easier, cleaning up. And that complements this side of the exhaust pretty nice. I kind of like the way that looks. Well, that certainly was a couple of hours well spent. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what this looks like in the bright sunlight. But that's going to have to wait till tomorrow. It's still pouring out there. So I hope you did enjoy the video, and I want to thank the healthcare workers. Guys, I really do appreciate it. It's an unbelievable sacrifice that you guys are making. I can't even imagine wearing a mask all day long and everything. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, I think the wheels came out nice. The muffler came out nice. It's certainly something nobody should be afraid to try if you have a motorcycle. It doesn't have to be this motorcycle. But I do, of course, I'm looking at the MT-09 videos now on YouTube a lot. I see many people that have reviewed this bike and have had it. One of the things they like about it is how nimble it is. And to be honest, very honest, the most nimble bike I know is an RD, of course. But that doesn't count because you can't buy an RD anymore. This bike comes real close to the RD in terms of, and I'm not so sure this bike, when you ride it, now I haven't really, because it's still in break-in miles, I haven't really put it to the test. But it's so confidence inspiring to get down. It's so solid feeling. And I've got all the suspension settings on soft. I can't wait to start jacking them up. And there's a lot to look forward to with this bike. And all I have to say is, if you've never experienced one of these, next time you get a chance to do one of those free demo rides at a Yamaha dealer, don't miss it. This is the biggest bargain in motorcycling, period. There's nothing that's at this level of performance and comfort and reliability and under $9,000. And if you like me, you can get a little discount on it too. But anyway, it has been a wonderful experience from the day Karen bought this for me. Thank you, Karen. And I hope you've enjoyed sharing some of the mods, some of the rides, and we got a great future coming up. I can't wait to get it broken in. So again, thanks for watching, and hopefully you'll enjoy the video as much as I enjoy making them. Again, thanks for watching.